I sparked a huge debate recently on Jude Bellingham versus Frankie de Jong on who is the better midfielder. And that is the key word here, people. Midfield. This is a player that I want essentially in my team because we don't have a player like Frankie de Jong in Real Madrid at the moment. We don't. It's as simple as that. A silky smooth passer that is literally head and shoulders above the majority of midfielders when it comes to playing from a deep line position in midfield. Somebody who can orchestrate that midfield, dictate the tempo. Can Jude Bellingham do that? No, he cannot. That is literally the bare bone of the answer. He cannot. That's not what his specialty is. His specialty is box to box, defense and attack, without the tech, essentially. Just athleticism. That's all Jude brings. People can say, okay, he scores goals. Whoop-de-doo. Pedri scores goals as well. But for me personally, Frankie de Jong offers so much more than what we have in our current midfield. You think Arda Güler is going to drop deep and start playing the ball around? I don't think so. Camavinga maybe is more of that type of player, essentially a carrier of the ball that can run through the midfield. But de Jong, completely different. A player, may I remind you, that across a singular season would have 95 to 96% pass accuracy. And people saying, oh, he just passes sideways. Watch Frankie de Jong. Watch him, because his forward passing percentage is probably higher than Jude Bellingham. Probably higher. Just ask Barca Volume, because he sent the stats in the group with all of us and actually confirmed that his forward passing percentages is higher than Jude Bellingham. Much higher. A player that can incisively pass directly through the centre, cut open midfields, cut open defences. The way that he does over-the-top through balls is silky smooth. Bellingham? Never. I don't see that. People say, oh, remember the match? Well, that's one match. What about continuously doing it throughout the season? I can arguably say that Frankie de Jong was actually Barcelona's one of his best players last season. One of the best, because you don't realise actually what he does. People say, oh, Vitinha, you don't realise what he does. He's just that player that glides in between, links up the play, and then distributes the ball nicely. Because Jude Bellingham doesn't have that quality. He doesn't. Please name me a quality in terms of actual central midfield qualities that Jude Bellingham has better than Frankie de Jong. Passing? No. Distribution? No. Vision? No. Creativity? No. None of those he excels at. So tell me, in your words, in the comments below, why Jude Bellingham is better than Frankie de Jong in that specific role. They are completely two different players. May I remind you, two different players. So we have to look at it just face value. We don't have that type of player. We had that type of player in Toni Kroos, and Toni Kroos is miles better than Frankie de Jong. Miles, miles, miles better. But what Frankie de Jong offers, we don't have currently in the team. It's as simple as that. One player, name me one player in Real Madrid's team who can do what Frankie de Jong does. So, if I had the choice to drop one of our midfielders out, because Valverde is clearly better in, for example, defensive attributes than Jude Bellingham. He is. Simple as that. He's better. Maybe in attack he's not better, but we don't need that. We have Arda Güler to do the creativity up front, to pick out those passes. But we need someone to link the play between the defense and the attack. And we don't have that. So, what would I do? I would drop Bellingham. Hey, de Jong, come into Real Madrid. That's what I would do. That's hypotheticals. We know that. But What kind of player? Well, we have talked about it before. We've talked about Angelo Stiller, who can do that. So why was Real Madrid and why is Toni Kroos so in high regard of a player like Angelo Stiller? Because he offers that. He offers that technique, that midfield technique that you cannot teach. That's what it is. It's a natural gift. Bellingham, he's an athlete. He's a runner. He runs all over the pitch. I grant him that. That's all he does. Run, 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 run. Kilometers, racking them up. But essentially, what do you do all game? Yes, you may get in a few tackles here and there. Yes, I have absolutely been critical and have actually praised Bellingham throughout the season as well, when it is deserved. So if it's not deserved, criticize, because what you're doing in a match. Because Valverde consistently, more or less, is a 7 out of 10 player. Because he is doing that running, but also he's biting at the heels of players. He is the one who's just going to go dirty in that midfield and mop up any danger that we have coming against us. So why do we need two players like that, essentially? Well, you argue that we need a double pivot, a kind of double pivot, especially with a 3-5-2 formation where we have two players that can do the deep line playmaking and also be box to box and do kind of like everything, a jack of all trades, which is kind of what Bellingham is. He's a jack of all trades, essentially. But you need an actual specialist in that role. And that specialist is Frankie de Jong and Vitinha. Different players that I can name around the world. But Bellingham is not that. He doesn't have that specialist thing inside him to actually go, okay, cool. I'll take control of the ball here. I'll allow the players around me to evolve in terms of moving up the pitch, and I'll find them within a heartbeat. Dean Howson is better than that than Jude Bellingham. He's better at passing the ball directly through the centre. Jude Bellingham, what he does? Round, round, round. That's what he does. He passes sideways, backwards. And then when he's making the run up front, and then he does his forward running, and then he does his attacking duties. I very rarely see Jude Bellingham beating an actual press by just incisive passing. I never see it. I don't see it, but De Jong, he does. He may take a touch to get away from his man and then pass it, but dribbling-wise, De Jong's better as well. Have you seen De Jong dribble? Have you seen when he's getting pressed? Is this glaze of Barcelona? Call it glaze all you want. I don't really give a toss, honestly, because my thoughts on players is different than yours. And my players need to have technique in them. That's why I've been heavily critical of Vinny. That's why I've been heavily critical of Bellingham in the past as well. But Valverde, am I critical of him that much? You can say that in some aspects that he is not the best with the ball, but what he offers is that actual biting attitude. He bites at every single player that runs past him. He's like, okay, cool, I'm going to get on you. But Bellingham sometimes is lazy to do that. Rodrigo, technically gifted beyond belief, but not given an opportunity to play on that left-hand side. Mbappe, is he technically gifted? Absolutely not. Nowhere near. His first touch is awful. First touch is awful. His dribbling is insanely awful. You watch him, it's so... I don't know what he does, honestly. It's like the ball drifts away from him. Tchouaméni, decent, technically in the ball, as a defensive midfielder. Decent. So, I look at a string of players in the team and I'm like, look, Trent is very decent technically. He can pass, he can find the man, he's got passing range, he's got everything that he needs. But we need that in the midfield. And we need that desperately. Because, honestly, how desperate we are to win this La Liga trophy, it needs some guy in that midfield who's going to do the job that I want him to do. And that is orchestrating that midfield. Saying, calm, let me take the ball, and then you do the running. That's what we want from a player. So this debate is dead. De Jong is better than Jude Bellingham in my aspect in terms of a central midfielder, and what a central midfielder's job is that exactly. It's a De Jong type player. It's a Cruz type player. It's a Pirlo type player. It's a Paul Scholes type player. That's why I always rated Paul Scholes much higher than Steven Gerrard or Frank Lampard. Always, and will always be the same. Because Paul Scholes on the ball was just incredible. Incredible. Gerrard was as well. He could dribble as well. But I see Gerrard as that type of Bellingham player. A guy that likes to get stuck in attack as well, but can also do his defensive duties. It's a typical box-to-box. Frank Lampard was more of an attacking role type of midfielder. But Scholes, and I'm talking about Scholes also. Scholes, people don't remember Scholes when he used to play literally in the front of the pitch. But when he started dropping deeper, he was aging a bit and then orchestrating that midfield in Manchester United. This is the type of player that we want. So, the debate is dead. I squashed it. I don't care. Will, you can reply to this. Reply to this with all the stats you want in the world. Oh, he won player of the season. Great. Great. When he was playing literally in a shadow striker false nine role. When he had all the opportunity to score goals. And when Ancelotti put faith in him to do that. Do you know what? I give him his dues. I give him credit there. Absolutely. But as a central midfielder, De Jong is ahead. Guys, take care. Adios. I don't care. You can comment down below. Like this video. Whatever you want to do. And we'll see you next time. Take care. Adios. A la Madrid y nada más. And we'll see you next time. It's time to end the stream, Dave. Adios.